I just made my first major electronic music gear purchase. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Let's get started. So yesterday I asked for your guys' help. I said that I wasn't sure how to proceed really with all the awesome synthesizers that I've picked up, like the Behringer Model D, the Arturia Microfreak, Korg Volca keys. You see, I've spent a lot of time crafting quality sounds with them, but I don't really know how to use those sounds in terms of laying down songs and things like that. So I said I was leaning towards picking up an MPC One to act as kind of my recording and MIDI tracking hub, I guess you could say, my song composition device. But I said I was open to any and all suggestions, and you guys really came through. The video hasn't even been out 24 hours yet, and I believe including my replies were well over 100 comments on yesterday's video. That's insane compared to my usual comment ratio, so thank you guys so much for that. Although I have to say, I don't think some of you watched the video all the way through, because some of your recommendations were gear that I already talked about not wanting in the video, but that's okay. I had a lot of fun reading through all of your comments and going to research some new products that I hadn't really looked into before. And well, this morning I finally came to a final decision, and I pulled the trigger on a piece of gear. I spent the most money that I've ever spent on the channel. And I'm pretty sure this is the channel's first really major piece of electronic music gear, not counting the drum kit or the Roland SPD SX. Those were more for me personally than the channel. This morning I placed an order for the Akai MPC One. I wound up going with the MPC. I'm very, very excited for it. Thank you to the MPC owners who watched yesterday's video and kind of reinforced my decision. I did a whole lot more research last night and today. Didn't get a whole lot of sleep because I was too excited looking up everything this thing could do. And I pulled the trigger. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. And to help some people understand why I did wind up going with the MPC One, I do have a list here. I came up with quite a few different reasons why I chose the MPC One, and I do know that some of these reasons apply to other instruments. This is just my own list, and it's all of these things together that made me pull the trigger. And I'm sure there's more than this too, but these are just the ones that I could come up with immediately off the top of my head, out of sheer excitement for the MPC to get here on Sunday. So day after tomorrow it shows up. I'm very excited. So first and foremost, what I talked about yesterday, I'm excited to actually be able to use the sounds that I create with my existing gear. So I'll finally be, motivated to sit down with the Microfreak and come up with some wild stuff, which is something that I've been wildly ignoring since picking it up, which is a real shame because it's a crazy powerful synthesizer. Same thing with the Model D. I really haven't touched it that much because it's like, well, once I've got the sound, what do I do now? Now I have something to do with those sounds once I've got them crafted. I'm also finally going to learn how to sequence external gear, something that before this has not really had any appeal to me because I don't really like jamming that much. I mean, I do, but off camera, it's not something that I enjoy as much. I like working on something cohesive, from start to finish. So I've never really had reason to sequence external gear, but now I do. Reason number 2 is that I can plug in my electronic drum kits and just play those kits and just record right into it via audio, or I can record the internal drum kits of the MPC via MIDI, but with the expressiveness of a full electronic drum kit. So that's really fun. The MPC also supports multi-samples with like customizable velocity layers. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to figure out a way to set up my Neil Peart kit in there and then play that live with the electronic drum set. That's going to be, oh man, just thinking about that has me really, really excited. I'm also happy to be able to work on a track like at the MPC here at the desk, and then just walk 3 feet behind me to the drum kit and plug directly into it and record my drums that way. That is something I've not been able to do before. All the drums in my songs so far have had to be programmed. So I'm excited that that's going to be able to change things up. It's also going to be very nice when prepping songs on the MPC for live shows, since I'm just going to be able to mute the parts that I need to mute, which is usually the drums because I play those live, then export the song to a USB drive, and then directly import that via USB into my SPD SX to play live. And speaking of playing live, the MPC can act as my drum module via MIDI. when I'm playing live shows. So now I'm not just limited to the sounds in my drum module, I can play any kit on the MPC. That's awesome. Speaking of sounds in the MPC, number 3 is the expansions. So far what I've looked at has been really, really cool. I've already got a couple expansions favorited and ready to purchase, including one that has a bunch of orchestral sounds, which is something that I've never really messed with. So I'm excited to be able to combine something like the Model D with an orchestral patch and see how that sounds. Reason number 4 is that I never really do anything with parameter automation on devices that I own that support that, because it kind of intimidates me, confuses me, I guess, I'm not sure. But in watching the tutorials for the MPC One, it looks really, really simple just being able to draw stuff in. And that really appeals to me to get like visual feedback on your automation. So I'm really excited to be able to do that and bring a whole new layer of depth to my music. Reason number 5 is the form factor is absolutely perfect. It's always going to be able to sit right on top of my desk. And much like the OPZ, the MPC can directly power my keystep. So I can just plug right in and I'm just ready to go right there on the desk, move it aside when I'm not using it. Super cool, awesome form factor. Number 6 is that it just feels like the perfect blend of hardware plus the screen, which being a touchscreen is really cool too, all the smartphone controls and stuff. But I really like the idea of hardware with the screen. The combination is really, really nice. I don't have anything that works like that yet, so I'm excited to try that out because I think I'm really going to enjoy it. Number 7 is that I'm really excited to use it with my Model Cycles, because the Model Cycles sequencer is absolutely insane. It's a huge powerhouse, as we found out during the live show, and the thought of being able to use that to record and sequence drum patterns on the MPC, via MIDI triggering the MPC sounds is really tantalizing, especially when we think back to the random drums video that I did a couple weeks ago, where we used the chance and condition parameters on the Model Cycles to come up with completely random drum parts. All of a sudden via MIDI, I can trigger any of those live inside the MPC and record those performances and then chop those up because that's all MIDI data within the MPC. So I'm very excited to be able to kind of inspire myself. Maybe I'll have the Cycles play something crazy that I've never thought of before, and then I'll sit down and learn it on the drums, like actually playing the drums. I'm really, really excited for that. Number 8 is that in my research, I've discovered that making full-length songs isn't something that I've found a ton of information on here on YouTube or just the internet in general. And that's kind of nice because it means I'll be able to help fill a gap on YouTube because I'm going to make a bunch of videos about that. And it does seem like a very popular device, so hopefully I can help inspire some others to maybe change their workflow a bit or add a different workflow to their arsenal. Number 9, I also feel like it's going to help me teach the budget instruments better because I'll be able to further demonstrate how those pieces of gear can actually go towards making music. For instance, hearing like that droney bass that I came up with on the Volca keys by itself was cool, but imagine hearing that over some drums that I can just play live or just show you guys really quick, even off camera. It's just going to really enhance the teaching effect, and I think really going to help open people's eyes to, what instruments like the pocket operators can do. So I'm very, very excited for that. And finally, at number 10, it feels like this is what I've been gradually progressing towards since starting the channel. My first purchase was a PO33, and then I started picking up more little instruments, so I had more sounds available for sampling. Then I just kept on getting more and more instruments to the point where those instruments were worth way more than the little PO33. So my sampling and recording needs kept growing. And I feel like I'm finally going to be able to satiate that need to record and sample these devices with the MPC One. So it just feels like a natural progression for the channel. Those are the reasons I just came up with in about 20 minutes before deciding to shoot this video. I'm very, very excited. Obviously, I'm excited enough that I shot a video of just me talking. I just wanted to share my excitement with you guys. Let me know if you're excited for me to get my hands on this. Let me know if there's any tips I need, and more importantly, let me know what you guys want to see me do with the MPC One. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave a like on it. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.